If you're wondering if Sleeping Dogs is worth it, then this video is for you. But in order to know if it's worth it, we have to look at the gameplay, what are the pros and cons, and who will actually enjoy playing the game. So should you buy Sleeping Dogs? Let's find out. So Sleeping Dogs is an open world action game with a great story and fighting system. In Sleeping Dogs, you play as an undercover cop infiltrating a gang and destroying it from the inside. But the game is now over 10 years old, but does it still hold its ground? Now Sleeping Dogs is out on full release and costs $20. Throughout the game, you are exposed to a lot of drama and tragedy, but it starts off fairly slowly while introducing you to the mechanics, characters, and areas. The story introduces you to a lot of characters and their lore, and the characters are all very likable, and especially the protagonist you play as. And you clearly get to see the struggles he goes through while balancing the job and the tough tasks he has to complete throughout the game. Now in the early game, you start off in the gang as a mere foot soldier, but due to your great combat skills and intelligence, you actually quickly move up in the ranks of Triad, and you are slowly being exposed to more of the secrets and infrastructure of the gang, allowing you to build up research and proof in order to shut them down. Now the first mechanic we want to look at here is the fighting, and the fighting is a big part of the game, and luckily the system is well thought out and balanced with a lot of creativity and special moves. It's based on a simple system of punches, parries, and grabs, but you will need to time it correctly and use the environment to succeed. And this results in a fast-paced, interactive, and satisfying combat system, which is not seen in many games before or after. You do also have guns and shooting, and the game actually has a bullet time system mechanic as well. Now the shooting system is actually not bad at all, and it definitely works, but I do personally prefer the fighting system. The next system is also the driving, and where would an open world game set in Hong Kong be without driving? The driving system offers a lot of variety in terms of vehicles, speed, and even street races. Now the driving system is pretty simple, especially if you compare it to actual racing games or GTA 5, but in this case, the simplicity of the driving is actually great, and it fits the game well. You will also come across special events and time-limited missions while moving about in the world, such as helping pedestrians. You also have a lot of progression and skill trees, and the game has 4 different skill trees actually. You have the cop, triad, melee, and face skill tree, and these all require separate activities to level up in, as well as provide their own unique skills and rewards. Now the story is well crafted and provides a solid backbone to the game itself. It is fairly predictable, especially in the later parts of it, but it is still well implemented and immersive. Let's talk about the graphics and open world. The open world of Hong Kong provides a lot of different visuals. From the skyscrapers to the suburban areas, the world feels vast and well thought out. The diversity between areas and the details also feel well handcrafted and add a lot to the overall environment and atmosphere of the game. Now upon the release of Sleeping Dogs, the graphics were not well received, especially the console players were experiencing a lot of screen tearing, and it resulted in a lot of frustration. But with the release of the definitive edition, these issues were removed or drastically improved upon, and the graphics are now great even for a 10-year-old game in my opinion. And in terms of the sound, the mix of English and Cantonese voice acting is also very immersive and authentic, and it's always great to see a game carrying this much about the authenticity of the game. And it also provides the game with a really nice touch, and this combined with the overall sound effects and good combat music gives the game a great sense of immersion. Now in terms of the replayability, the overworld you maneuver in is very eventful. From random police chases, helping pedestrians, to beating up on random gangs as you come across, there is never a dull moment, and there is plenty to do and explore outside of just the main storyline. There are also numerous collectibles and Easter eggs to find throughout the map, and you'll often find yourself stopping mid-storyline because you enjoy hunting for collectibles so much. If you're liking this video so far, make sure to boop the like button as it really helps out the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. Now let's take some pros and cons of the game. The first pro is definitely the story, and while the story might be fairly predictable, it doesn't change the fact that it is well implemented and works well with the Hong Kong setting. The story offers a nice streamlined progression to follow while you explore the rest of the world and its content. The next pro is definitely the fighting system. With its unique high action and precise timing, the combat system of Sleeping Dogs is great. It offers a lot of variety in terms of attacks and requires focus to master, while still being simple enough that you can pick it up relatively easy when you start playing the game. And the final pro is the open world events, and these add a ton of replayability and are very unpredictable. From the street racing to beating up random gangs you come across, the open world offers a lot of great variety. Now I actually only have one con for the game, and that is the camera. So not often, but once in a while, the camera angle while fighting will adjust to a weird position. So while fighting someone, your camera will clip through the wall behind you and you can't really see what's happening. Now let's grade the game, shall we? And the first thing we are grading on is the gameplay. That's the most important aspect here. So we're looking at the mechanics, the system, and does the game work as intended. And here Sleeping Dogs definitely gets an A. Anywhere from the fighting, the driving, the skill trees, the game definitely lives up to its promises of being an open world fighting game set in Hong Kong. And the next thing we're grading on is the graphics, the sound, and immersion. And even for a 10-year-old game, this actually still looks great. I personally love these graphics, and combined with the open world implementations, the level of detail, plus the overall soundtrack and the voice acting, it all adds up to a very authentic and immersive experience, and I therefore also give Sleeping Dogs an A here. And the next thing we're grading on is the progression and replayability. And here we're also looking at the story. So basically, does if it feel meaningful, and is the story well implemented? So in terms of progression, you have some nice skill trees, and the story, while it is predictable, is still great and offers a nice backbone to the entire game, while you can can go explore everything you want to. And there is also a lot of replayability value in the game in terms of the open world and the random events that will occur as you move around. Now, it's not the same level as, for instance, something like GTA 5, but it can easily offer 50 to 100 hours of gameplay. So in progression, I give Sleeping Dogs a B+. And therefore, the overall grade of Sleeping Dogs is therefore an A. The gameplay mechanics just work, the sound and voice acting is superb, and you have a nice streamlined progression and good replayability value. Now, you can actually buy Sleeping Dogs with all 24 DLCs implemented in the definitive edition for only $20, and that's without it being on sale. Now, unfortunately, Sleeping Dogs only sold 1.5 million copies, and it didn't actually turn out to be a profit for the developers, which is a shame since a sequel to Sleeping Dogs was announced and being worked on, but it was cancelled due to low numbers of sales. The selling points of Sleeping Dogs comes down to the gameplay, replay value, and the fascinating story. The open world feels extremely alive and packed with life and activities to explore. Now, Sleeping Dogs only sold 1.5 million copies on release, and the game is to this day criminally underrated and is truly a hidden gem. So if you have not yet tried Sleeping Dogs or the definitive edition, it is well worth buying and playing. But let me know in the comments what you guys think of it. Did you guys play the game on launch, and have you played it since? And also check out the videos on the screen now, as I think you also really enjoy those game reviews, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.